Hey, I'm Dusti Martin with Platinum Living Realty. If you watched my last video, you're in for a treat. This is the video I was talking about. Today, we're going to talk about buying your first investment here in Arizona, otherwise known as home hacking, especially if you're on a budget. So buckle up, grab a drink, maybe a notepad. Let's go. All right, so first things first. One of my last videos, I talked about how to make your first investment and how to guard against the inflation and stagflation that is coming in the real estate market and how you can try to hedge against that and kind of soften the blow for yourself. If you're a first-time home buyer or you're just looking for a good way to make a good solid investment, or you don't own your own home first, but you want to make sure that your first step into real estate is a good one, you're in the right place. So let's get started. We're going to talk today about home hacking. Home hacking is basically where you buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, and you live in it, and then in one of the units, and then you rent out the other to subsidize your mortgage payment, right? Sounds great. Well, here's a little bit more how that's going to work. Another thing you could do is you could buy a single family home, but then rent out a room to a roommate, or maybe two rooms if you're single and you don't have anybody telling you who can and can't live there. That's something that you can do to help kind of do the same thing. So it'll work in a single family residence type scenario, but today we're going to talk about duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick right here. We're looking at multifamily homes. Multifamily homes are, generally speaking, investment properties. A lot of times only investors look at them. And it's something that I feel like a lot of young people could really get into if they would just kind of realize that maybe some sweat equity is worth the long-term gain. If you really want to get into investing, this is a great place to start early in life before you've got a house, a kid, a spouse, Fifi who, snuggles in at night, your fur babies, all of that. So this is something that you should definitely look into before you're saddled with all the other stuff. But if you're also a young couple, and you're not tied down, this is also another great way to get started if you're on a budget. So I've already set up my MLS to do some pre stuff. So let me share it with you here. Okay, so all right. So right now we are looking at the multiple dwellings in our MLS. I've already narrowed it down to active listings coming soon, and only duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes, and only in Maricopa County. They didn't mess with price because budgets are all over the place. We're just going to look at what's around, right? So we're already looking at our map, right? Let's click it over. And I found this one in Glendale for $400,000, okay? So we're going to zoom in here. Let's look at our detail. Well, let's skip. So this particular property is a 2-unit place. There's 2 buildings, 2 units, and one is renting for $700. The other down here is renting for $1,150. One unit is 600 square feet. The other is 900 square feet. Obviously, the one for 900 is renting for quite a bit more, right? There's a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. The 2-bedroom, obviously being the bigger one, rents for more. So all together there, this property is bringing in about $1,800 to $1,850 a month. And I've already caught like some math problems here. So the adjusted gross on this is $22,200 a year. So we're going to divide that by 12. But what I've done is you can actually, assuming this home is in good shape, and sometimes multifamily dwellings come through and they're in really rough shape and they cannot be financed because they're in such rough shape. So keep that in mind. It has to be something that's actually financeable for a traditional loan. In other words, like the stove has to be there, that kind of things. It can't have any like major issues that would make the home uninhabitable. So we're going to hop over here to our calculator. So this particular home is $400,000. the calculator puts in 10% down at 5% interest. It's been this default as long as I've been a realtor. So we're going to ignore those numbers, right? But we know that we can get a 5% conventional loan, 5% down conventional loan. And let's say we know interest rates are going up right now. So let's just say that we can get the interest rate at 4% right now, which would be good. Most interest rates are like 3.8, you know, up to, last year I had clients with low credit scores getting 4s. So at this point, let's just say 4, because that's probably about where it's at a 30-year fix. That would put our mortgage, not counting insurance and taxes, at $1,814 a month, right? So let's go back to our little report here. And we know that the 2-bedroom is renting for $1,150. And I am willing to bet that that is not the market rent for that unit. So $1,150 minus, what did we say? 19. So already right there, we've reduced our burden to about $800 a month, which is almost nothing, to be honest. And so then, now you can do a couple things. You can use that other money to pay down your mortgage, or if you can, let's assume that this property hasn't rented in a while. Let's see what the history is. When was the last time? Oh, there's no rental info here. Okay. So we'd have to go look at a different screen, but I'm willing to bet the rent there is not market rate. So let's say we can get that up to $1,250. Now you're down to only $600-700 that you owe per month. If you can get it to a point, if you find a fourplex, let's find a fourplex. Let's play with this. Let's have some fun. Okay, so let's get rid of the duplexes and let's look at triplexes and fourplexes. There's a few. Let's see what we got. Oh, looky this, 59th Ave in Glendale, $395. It's even cheaper than the first one. It's probably uglier, but that's okay. Because sometimes when investors are looking, they want a certain cap rate, they want a certain cash flow, and they're not really willing to take the ugly one and flip it and wait for the renters to get out so that they can do that. They just want to acquire a property and start making money day one, right? So let's look at this one. Let's pretend, I don't know if it is, but let's pretend it's actually financeable. They went and put in a bunch of zeros. Operating expenses, $1,500 a year. I doubt that. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, that's their taxes. So we know that there is, so this one is a triplex. It has 3 2-bedroom units. They don't even have the average rent in here. Okay, so let's look at something a little more expensive. This is a duplex over in Phoenix near the Phoenix Preserve, over kind of by south side of Point Tapatio Cliffs over there. So this particular property goes for $475. Again, not a whole lot of details provided by the seller, but we're able to look and we see that there are 2 2-bedroom units. They're not calculating the amount of the rent that's available for a property like this. And we know that each one is about 900 square feet, right? So here they are, they haven't really provided anything. This is the type of thing exactly that most investors may overlook simply because it's so difficult to get the information. You're going to have to call the agent, hope the agent knows, go through there. So then we look at the property like, oh, it's not bad. It's definitely financeable. Outside's in decent condition. Looks like somebody might be moving here. That's good, because that means that you'll be able to live there. You have to actually live in the property, or at least within 60 days of closing, move into at least one of the units. Otherwise, you're doing what's called committing mortgage fraud. Because if you're using a residential loan with the lower interest rate to buy an investment property that you don't live on, that's fraud. So don't do that. Let's keep it by the book. Oh, here we go. In fact, these are kind of in the same neighborhood. Might even be the same one. Let's look. Let's look at this little guy. Lawrence Lane, 14. So let's look at the photos. Definitely not the same house, but this is an example of, there's a thing called flipping rents. There's flipping houses where you buy the ugly house, you fix it up, you make it pretty like this, and then you sell it, right? And you just take the money and run. Flipping rents, you buy the dog and pony show, you buy the ugly house that doesn't rent for a whole lot, that some investors don't want to deal with. And then you make it pretty and you rent it for a whole lot more, and you hold on to it a lot longer and make even more money. So this definitely, let's say you update one of those units. This one rents for $18.95, and most of this is cosmetic. Look at that. These are old cabinets. Those are original cabinets. They've just been painted with new hardware. I'm sorry, but nobody makes these types of cabinet fronts anymore. Nobody does that. So we know those are original cabinets. They've literally just put some lipstick on them and stuck some, I'm not sure if those are actual tiles or not, but they put just a cheap dishwasher, some cheap flooring in, a cheap light. Yeah, not so bad. Yeah, that's all the original cabinets. All they did was change the floors, the countertops, painted it, and changed the hardware and the fixtures. That's an easy flip that can be done to any one of these uglier properties, right? So, and this is, you know, a different property. It's 2-story. So let's go back here. Let's see what the single story material levels. Let's do 1. See what else is in this neighborhood. Here's something, $1,300. Let's go to these photos. So again, they just put in, these are new cabinets, and they painted and they did some landscaping and stuff. But that's really, I mean, so let's take this number, $1,300, right? We know that if we update the other ones, so let's go back to our multi-dwellings, our project type. We remember that one was a duplex, right? Here it is, Turquoise Ave. So we're going to go to Turquoise Ave. We know that we can rent one of these units for $1,300 or $1,400 if we clean it up. And so let's say, since it's not all shiny and new in here, let's refresh. It's still a decent, the yard's well maintained and everything like that. So this one, let's say we can get $1,200 for that. $475, 5% down, 4% interest, 30 years. That person would be paying over half of your mortgage for you, and you would be getting all of the appreciation and all of the equity that comes with owning that home. So that is house hacking. Now, if you're wondering if this is a scenario that would work for you, go ahead and give me a call. Or if you're wondering what your home might sell for in today's market, or maybe what it would rent for if you want to just do a cash out refi, buy your dream home and use the other one as a investment going forward, go ahead and give me a call, 480-717-9405, or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.